I suppose the first thing is, like, where did you grow up? How did it start? Where did rugby begin for you?
I grew up in George, South Africa, a lovely part of South Africa. And I would probably say the rugby started in the back garden with my brother bullying me, with him being 4 years older than me. And I always remember my dad kicking the ball to me and like saying, "Oh, if you catch this, then I'll give you 10 rand" at the time, which is like 30p or whatever it is now. Yeah, and I just think my life started for rugby, through my dad and always watching rugby, as a family, always watching rugby on weekends. And, that was probably the main thing I wanted to do growing up. And, all I could think about is, basically live and breathe rugby.
And am I right in saying when you turned like 15 years old, there was a period where you're kind of hesitant to continue?
Yeah. I would say up to the age of 13, I felt I was always competitive. And then for some reason at the age of 14, 15, I was quite a late developer, and I just felt like everyone was like faster than me, bigger.
Hitting puberty.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm the small boy. Yeah, like I don't enjoy this. And I was actually really good at field hockey. And I remember going into our December holiday at the age of 15. Playing rugby for 2 years, under 14s and under 15s, going into that December holiday and saying to my brother, like, I think I'm gonna make the switch to field hockey because, I'm playing in the B team, not really enjoying it. And he actually got me in the gym that December. For some reason, when I went back at the age of 16, I had a lot more confidence in myself. I started getting my speed back. I grew quite a lot in the 1 year as well.
I can see that.
Added some weight as well. And I think, ever since I started playing for the A team, and I actually really enjoyed what I was doing.
And did you always have a good connection with all the players in South Africa?
Yeah. I mean, I've always had a really good connection with everyone. Especially under 16, you play in the Grand Como a week. I played for Southwestern Districts. And then at the age of 17 and 18, played SA Schools. So obviously got to know a lot of players there, like, Jesse Creel and Malcolm Marks and all these boys. And I was fortunate enough to, in my first year, play for the Baby Box as well. So again, I've played with these boys, 2 years before. So obviously knew all of them. I had a really good connection there. And then, unfortunately, my second year, I was injured. So, I couldn't play.
What was it, a hip injury? Am I right in saying that?
I had actually had two knee surgeries in my first year at the Blue Bulls. And then I also had 2 wrist surgeries. So, I wasn't fit for the tour. I think it was to Italy or whatever it was. So I couldn't go. But I think things worked out really good for me, because if I went on that tour for the Baby Box, I wouldn't have been able to play for Scotland, because I think they changed the rule that year. So that meant, I wouldn't have been able to play for Scotland. So things worked out really well.
Yeah. And what made you make that switch? So you're in South Africa. You hit kind of 15 years old. There's this kind of, I was going to say midlife crisis there, but it's not that. But there's kind of a sway towards something different.
Yeah. I guess having an older brother and knowing how the system works is you've got so many young players coming in each year, because that's what most, South African boys want to do, is play rugby. So if you didn't make it within your first 3 years, I felt like, that was probably going to be me. And because I was injured so much in my first 3 years, I didn't really play a lot of rugby, and I could feel like things were going downhill for me. So I knew that, I had to get out if given the opportunity. So in my third year, I played for Tuck's varsity team. And actually managed to play quite well. And then after that, I got an offer to go to Montpellier in France, and I felt like that was my way to, basically almost like get to know myself a bit again, get my love back for the game, put myself out of my comfort zone and learn some new things from new players, and just giving myself another shot at rugby, because I feel like things were going downhill pretty fast.
Well, why do you think that was? That there was more injuries at that point? Because at the moment you're
Well,
fine.
I actually said this to someone yesterday. I've been really lucky. Touch wood. So I've had all my surgeries at a very young age of 19, 20, 21, and ever since I've not had a single surgery. So I do it the other way around, where I get it quite early on. But I guess it's pretty tough when you're that age, trying to break into the first team, and you're injured 24/7. You're not getting an opportunity you want. I would probably say these things happen, but I would probably say at that time of my career, I wasn't really looking after my body. Because you're so young, you feel fresh 24/7. You just get on with things. You don't really stretch. You don't do rehab. You don't do these kind of things. And also, I can remember feeling pain in my knees and stuff. But as I said, I only had a small window to break into the first team and make a name for myself. So I was carrying these niggles with me for a year and a half, and I feel like those niggles were holding me back as well, because I couldn't get up to the speed I wanted to get, and it just takes a massive knock on your confidence.
And those little niggles are the things that definitely turn into shit down the road.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of the boys, we were talking to Blair as well about this, and he was like, yeah, if you have some tiny little thing in the game, it'll go. Yeah. Like that'll be the tipping point for it to just like snap.
Yeah.
Or what's the worst injury you've had?
Probably my hip surgery. That's an interesting one, because went to Montpellier and got an opportunity to come to Edinburgh, and I actually injured my hip in South Africa. So I've had this hip for a year, and obviously with the language barrier in France, I remember I kept on saying my hip's quite sore, and they were like, "Nah, you're just stiff. Like there's nothing wrong with you." And came to Edinburgh and did my medical, and I was just said to him, "Look, my hip's a bit sore, and I don't really know what's going on there." And went to go do my medical, and failed it. And I was just thinking, shit, where to now? Like, because normally when you fail your medical, they tear up your contract, and that's that. So that was pretty tough one to take, because I didn't really know what was going to happen. And luckily, Edinburgh chucked me a bit of a lifeline, and the rest is history, I'd say.